Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Data Dispatch. I hope everybody has at least a decent day with some of the tragic events that we're seeing occur, and these are becoming more frequently, unfortunately, in our world, and it's crazy with some of the division that we're experiencing, so I hope things do improve as time does progress. But nonetheless, this is a stock channel, so we're going to be talking about stocks and what we have in terms of updates, especially with Palantir. We see them announcing an official deal with the Marine Corps. This is regarding the whole contract with the Maven Smart system. We'll be talking about that. Regarding where its price action sits right now after it's pushed through its recent resistance point, and with the macroeconomic environment, how is that going to look? We do have good data today, which helps boost the confidence that we're going to see another interest rate cut, hopefully here in September. We have CPI data still to get through coming out tomorrow, and then we'll put that behind us. So if you are a new or returning viewer, hit that like button, subscribe for daily videos, and let's pop it up on the screen here. You can see Palantir closes here at 166.74, up about another 3% basically, and is continuing to rise slightly in the overnight hours at 167.50, up about another 80 cents. We talked about this a few videos ago, and especially yesterday once Palantir broke through this resistance zone. You know, Palantir has really been choppy and hanging out between this 150 and 160, and we anticipated and kind of predicted that if Palantir is able to push through this 160 and close above that, that's where we're going to see it possibly have its next leg up. Now here it's at this 166 area. I think if CPI data comes in good tomorrow, if the market reacts positively to that, I think the momentum will continue, especially with what we saw with Oracle earnings and in terms of the AI boom and demand that is still continuing to soar and accelerate at a rapid pace. Where does that put Palantir? I think Palantir could try to retest this right here, this 171, this gap up, reclaim this 170 and hang out here and kind of see how it's going to trade around here. I could easily see that, or for some reason, if we see a shift in the macroeconomic environment, you know, Palantir is just going to come back here and probably hang out in the mid 150s where it does like to hang out. Those are my 2 points in terms of the perspective from a bullish or bearish perspective. But looking at the deals here, you know, Marine Corps reaches a deal with Palantir for the Maven Smart system. This technology will enhance intelligence, targeting, and decision making for joint assist fires integration. Talking about this last year, the Defense Department, we've covered it on the channel about a year ago now, inked a $480 million. We saw a 5-year contract with Palantir for the technology. In terms of under this new deal here and what we saw, the actual ceiling of this contract, if you guys remember, it was increased to nearly $1.3 billion through 2029. Remember, we saw a lot of optimism behind that to meet the growing demand for the tool. And basically, under this new deal here, they're going to have expanded access to the Maven Smart system, licensing down to the tactical level with each major subordinate command, and it says here the supporting establishment used for support training. So great to see here that they reach an official deal for the Maven Smart system, and it shows you how Palantir is continuing to expand the products that it offers, both on the governmental side of things and on the commercial side of things. So Palantir, of course, yes, we see price action holding very strong. The continuation of these deals, I mean, is just further solidifying and exemplifying, you know, how much of a disruption that Palantir has brought into this industry in terms of being the top competitor for AI and software. If you think of AI and software, mostly everybody goes towards Palantir right now. It's great to have that type of advantage, especially in this type of market. Talking about the futures, what we see with the broader market, where it's closing out right now, more resilient than I was personally expecting. We see another close at above 6,500 at 65.32, up about 0.3% on the day. Now, talking about that, for the second day close right here, SPY's up about 80 cents. So it's actually increasing right now in the overnight hours. So we're still seeing buying pressure. In terms of the inflation data that came out, what we do have with the latest producer price index show that wholesale prices actually fell 0.1% in August, and economists had estimated about a 0.3% gain. Core PPI, which excludes food and energy, likewise declined 0.1%, while the consensus called for 0.3%. So both coming in underneath the estimates. This serves as a positive side heading into Thursday that more people and the Fed really likes to rely on, and the market likes to rely on, the consumer price index, CPI. We're going to be hoping for a report that shows us that inflation is cooling or at least in line with expectations. Right now, economists here expect the CPI report to show monthly increases of 0.3%. So this includes the headline index as well as the core reading. If the number comes around these estimates, that's where we're going to see basically we're going to see 99% or full confidence that the Federal Reserve will have room to deliver a rate cut to the September meeting, cut by at least a quarter point right here, or possibly we're starting to see the probability slightly increase, or the discussion talking about the entertainment for a deeper cut to possibly 50 basis points. I don't know. I think we'll at least see 25. That's my own personal prediction. I don't know if we'll come off the bat with 50. It'll be interesting to see what happens. In terms of why I think we're seeing a lot of resiliency in the market, that's a big culprit. Oracle shares lodging a 36% gain, the best day since 1992, that we saw a huge data revenue. Basically, the Tech Olgar reported this multi-cloud database revenue from Amazon, Google, and Microsoft that grew at a whopping rate of 1,529%. And what we see today, and Amit had posted this, another huge content creator, talking about OpenAI and Oracle. They signed a $300 billion, that's right, a $300 billion computing deal, among the biggest in history. Seeing that this contract right here looks like it's going to be mega. And this just shows you the demand behind AI is still pretty early. It seems like that it is still continuing to develop. You got to think these huge data centers that a lot of these companies are building aren't even fully complete yet. We don't have, the major limitation for what AI is going to be able to produce in terms of computing is the energy requirement. That's where you have nuclear. So the building out of nuclear, that's not even done yet in terms of these smaller modular reactors. So in terms of where we're sitting at, it seems like, yes, there could be a lot of frothiness in the market. And I would agree there is some frothiness across the board in terms of valuations that we're seeing. But looking over the next 10 years, I just don't see how this industry isn't going to continue to advance at a very rapid pace. We see that with NVDA. I mean, just look at NVIDIA's rise to basically be the leader of everything regarding AI, sitting here at 177.80. Looking at some of the semiconductor stocks, and especially with NVIDIA, one thing that's looking more attractive to me personally compared to NVIDIA is AMD, actually. You see AMD was up here at 186, pulled back here to about 150, and had a decent reversal right here at 160. AMD is looking slightly bullish, especially with this recent technical pattern right here, that if we see a continuation in the momentum in the market, that is where you could see AMD possibly having some bullishness that's behind that. In terms of some of the other AI related stocks, like let's talk about NVIDIA that has a big involvement in CoreWeave gapping back up here to 117. Now this could be in reaction to what we talked about recently with Nebius having a big bounce. Nebius is now working to raise capital, which makes sense. They're going to take advantage of their stock price that has, shot up this quickly. Right here at 93.39, Nebius has accelerated at a very rapid pace. Cool to see that stock that's been popping like crazy. Oklo been basing around here at 73, mid 70s, low 70s, looking to find its grounding. Oklo also establishing and consolidating at these higher lows is showing you that nuclear also does have a lot of optimism behind that. And then, of course, let's talk about Robinhood, because you had their recent summit that pushed Robinhood up here to 123. And one of the bullish things behind Robinhood was all of the new products and services that they're announcing on their platform. We kind of touched base on this yesterday, but the ability to short the market. You're also seeing the social feed that is coming out, multiple different accounts on one app. These things Robinhood is executing at a very rapid pace. So I am very bullish on Robinhood in the long term right here. And this thing's been holding up above $100 very, very strongly. So if we see this push back down to 100 at all, that'll be an interesting spot, and it'll be interesting to see across the board how some of these other stocks are playing out. But nonetheless, in terms of resiliency for September seasonality, the market's holding up quite well. It'll be interesting to see. We'll see tomorrow with the CPI data. Don't expect a lot until we get that, and then I think we'll see more volatility after that. Peace out, take care, and I'll catch you guys later.